Headset. Folks, welcome to the Tavern Chat podcast. Shit. Today is talking crit. Everything goes wrong. I go to the Poconos. Now my headset just disconnected. So now my sound is coming through my speakers. I don't know what the hell happened with that. But why did my AirPods cease to work? So yes, folks, this is a professional cast. Only the best.
Nothing but the best here. Nothing but the best. Hi guys.
So folks, just so you look back, yes, it's Joe and I. We both are. It's not the normal day for either one of us. Joe's in the middle of a move. I am actually in the Poconos. I've got Donka, the miniature dachshund, long-haired, with me.
There you go.
Rach, my wife, is doing yoga in the next room. Thank God I bought this new mic. But of course, I didn't bring the proper charger for my laptop. So we're going to see how long we get through for this cast before I start going, danger, Will Robinson, danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah. I got to packing up. So if you guys hear me all nasally and stuff, I'm kicking up dust here that has been around for a century or so in this pack, and I never thought I'd be moving. And now I'm moving because I'm a book geek. I got like 3,000 books, and literally, and so I'm moving out bookcases and whatnot. The whole place full of dust. So I'm sniffing and sneezing my ass off here. It's not COVID or anything like that. I'm still alive. In fact, tomorrow is my 2-week anniversary of my second shot. So I guess as of tomorrow, I'm as protected as I can be.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah, life is good, man.
You know, I actually think if my doc told me 10 days was really the sweet point. 10 days was
okay.
10 days. So,
okay.
Yeah, so now you can, basically go out there and suck face with strangers.
All right. Well, that's perfect. That's all about the sucking face with strangers. Speaking of which, I was just thinking about this today, dude. I'm tired. I'm tired of fucking this bullshit. It's been about 14, 15 months been locked down, whatever the hell it's been. The last good time I had was going to fucking TotalCon with you up there.
Yeah.
In February. I was really like, other than a couple bar hops, before COVID really hit. And the last time I was at a bar was, I remember I was after work and they just sent us all home for a couple of weeks in March. And I stopped across the street at the bar and I picked up had a Corona because I figured, what the hell, I had a Corona, then I drove home and that was it.
Yeah. You might as well enjoy it. I mean,
yeah.
Now that Rach and I have our 2 shots, now that we are as immunized as we're going to get, we've been going back to our local pub Wednesday afternoons for lunch, and Saturday evenings with my parents to take them out and just having dinner. And the joke is, at least the joke was, that everybody in the damn bar, but our bartender was immunized because everybody was fucking old or tired or had comorbidities, and then finally my bartender, who happens to have the same name as my wife, Rachel, she got the Johnson & Johnson the day before they stopped giving it out.
Oh boy, how is she doing? All right.
Oh, she's doing fine. She hates needles. She said she was only going to take the shot if it was a Johnson & Johnson because she'd only have to go for 1 shot.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. I know the whole blood clot mess and all that. That's just Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't know what the hell they're going to do. And I think at this point in Connecticut, at least where I live, we're getting to the point where we're begging people to get it. Like we almost have excess shots from what I heard. And the governor's trying to get people to get in there, encouraging businesses to bribe people to get their shots. Nice. You know what I mean?
I'll gladly give you $10 if you get your Moderna shot
today. Yeah, no, I get some kind of thing where I get like comp time or something at work because I got it. So I'm like, I'll take the time. Yeah, shit, yeah. Might as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm happy I got it. Listen, I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm not saying what anybody else should do. You all know your own situations when it comes to your health and your health risks. Yeah. But for me, it was a no-brainer. It's like, I had 3 hospital stays last year for a total of about 3 weeks. I don't want to repeat it again. I'm happy
exactly.
To skip that.
Yep. It's not worth the fucking risk, dude. Not worth the risk. Yeah, I went out for the first time the other night with my brother and his family to a local place in the town I'm moving to because it's his town, and it was the first time I've been out to eat in well over a year, for 13, 14 months, whatever it's been.
It's amazing,
You know?
isn't it?
It's weird. I felt so paranoid. Like everybody who walked in, we had a nice nook on the side. Nobody was coming over. We weren't near anybody, so it was kind of cool. Plexiglass, yada yada. Every time somebody walked in the door, which was near us, I wanted to shoot them for, you're going to kill me, die. It was just strange, man. It's damn strange, Well,
it's a different feel. It's a different atmosphere. I mean. Yeah. Today, Rich and I going to the Poconos. We've been up to the Poconos once in the last 14 months, and that was to literally drive up to my parents' place, check on it, and then head right back. I was here for half an hour.
Yeah. Now that's a hell of a drive.
Yeah, we're gonna be here until about lunchtime on Sunday. And,
that's cool.
We went shopping at Walmart, and after I left Walmart, I was like, Rich, she's like, yeah. I feel emotional. She's like, shopping at Walmart? I'm like, yeah, we haven't done this in 14 months. And I mean, and on top of that, we were expedited because we're wearing masks, and I hate shopping in masks, and I can't see shit when my glasses fog up. So, it's like, I don't need to just touch everything. I just need to get what I need and leave. But still, that experience is something that I hadn't done in well over a year.
Yeah. No, it's a strange thing once you get back out in the world. And because I was able to be locked down for a while, I was okay with it. And because there was no hope, there was no light at the end of the tunnel. But now that there's a little bit of a light, and now that I sort of, I don't know, pop my cherry for lack of a better word, and I hit a restaurant. Now I'm raring to bust loose. Now I just want to get the hell out there and do stuff and go back. I don't want to, I'm not going to go back to crazy life, but Jesus Christ, I wouldn't mind going to a bar, having a drink, sitting around talking to strangers, listening to good music. Just stuff like that.
Listen, in New York, you can't belly up to the bar. There's no bar service. You have to be sitting at a table and ordering food. But the moment that you order food, you're not wearing a mask, and apparently COVID respects the food as opposed to the drink. So
exactly.
It's like as long as I'm eating, COVID stays away. But
they were doing that shit out here too. They were saying any bar that wanted to be open as a bar had to serve food. So all of a sudden, everybody in the world in Connecticut got hot dog machines and shit. So that's what they were doing.
Well, there was one bar upstate New York that was selling Como chips or something like that.
That's awesome.
And they were making homemade potato chips, but then the state said that's not a real food, that's a snack, and did not count.
No shit.
I think that Como was upset that they named it after.
Yeah. And for colleges, that is a real food. I beg to differ. That's you live on that shit in college. So if it was a college town, it would count. But so here we are doing it again. So we got a couple topics, right? We wanted to hit on today.
Yeah, no, definitely.
What do you want to hit first?
We were talking about, I'm about to say the butterfly effect, but you were talking about the Mercer effect. And
that's
we can certainly touch on, because there's multiple levels to this, and it isn't just social media. It bleeds into Kickstarters and everything else.
Yep, I agree. They just for quick background, Matt Mercer, because we got a bunch of old guys listening, from what I understand, right? So for all the old guys listening, Matt Mercer has a show
called Critical Role.
Donka, there it is. Donka should get us 50 views alone tonight. Just so cute. Anyway, Matt Mercer has a show called
You're a cute girl. Don't kiss daddy on the lips, because I don't do dog kisses on the lips.
Dog COVID either. But
no dog COVID.
You got Critical Role is this show they've started in 15 or something, and it's people playing D&D online. That's sort of the broader topic we would
but it's broadly defined as people playing D&D online. The reality is
they're not real people in this sense, right?
It's not real people, and it's not real D&D. It is people playing at D&D. It's like, I'm a voice actor.
That's it.
I'm gonna play Prickly the dwarf, and everybody. I always talk like, dude. Nobody talk. I like to do voices at the table, and I am not in character as a DM half the time.
Here's the thing: they do that's what I thought, right? That was my perception based on a couple of clips and snippets I saw.
Right.
But then I'm watching the Big Bang Theory episode where Joe Manganiello was near the end. Joe Manganiello was on playing D&D with Will Wheaton and William Shatner and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and yada yada. And the girls wanted to play with Joe Manganiello because he was in that Magic Mike movie. For our one female viewer, it was just you'll recognize it from Magic Mike. The guys recognize him from that vampire show True Blood. But so anyway, he's on the show and yada yada. And then I did watch a couple of YouTube videos or an interview with him and this and that. And he's been playing he's an old school player from second edition days, but he was playing a lot of 5e, and he's of course he's a star. He's hooked in with Wizards of the Coast and yada yada. He's got this guy that is just character Dragonborn. I don't even go there, but anyway, he talked about how he was on Critical Role and he stole from the group the Vecna's hand, right? Spoiler alert, not too late. Anyway, he stole the Vecna's hand.
Wait. So now this is the same Vecna's hand for those following along at home that you could buy.
That's true for like what, $200, $250,
something like
bucks,
that, yes.
Something like that. So he stole Vecna's hand, right? And it was basically a kind of a thing where he said they didn't see it coming, but he was playing this guy. He was a guest on the season 1 finale of episode 150 or whatever, 2 episodes back to back, where he was playing with the base group, and at the end he stole the hand. And I'm like, let me watch that, because I'm packing, right? And I got hours during the day, and this is something I could do, put it on the TV in the living room as I'm packing a million boxes and books, and I could listen. So I put it on, and it was fucking entertaining. I got to say, they do the voices a lot. Because they are professional voice actors, they all got a voice, they all got a character, and it's way more than any normal fucking D&D player ever does, because they are in role, right? But they are playing 5e. They are geeks and nerds. They are getting excited over the natural 20 and the natural 1. They are, getting tense when combat comes, and they are fucking up their spells and not knowing how shit works. And Matt's looking up, well, I don't think you can do that and so there's all the elements of a regular D&D game plus voice actors. And I'm like, fuck, I like this in spite of myself. I kind of enjoyed it. So here's my admission. I liked the 2 episodes he was on. So it's like, yeah, shit. I got way more packing to do. So I went back and I started episode 1 of Critical Role. Now the sound quality and everything else sucked because they didn't have any money yet.
Right.
But the Matt Mercer effect is kind of real, because I ran into it with a group I ran at a game store a couple of years ago, where these kids were all, mostly kids, and they were all talking about this Matt Mercer show. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What is this? And they look at me like I was from Mars. I'd never heard of Matt Mercer. How could I play 5e or D&D when I heard it? I'm like, dude, I started in 84. What the hell are you talking about? I played a certain way, and it ain't that way.
Right.
That's when I saw the snippets. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm never gonna, I'm not gonna play like this. But these kids had an expectation. By kids, I mean, young 20s. They had an expectation.
The youth.
The youth. As Joe Pesci says. They had this expectation of a certain style or way to play, and they were trying to emulate it. And I'm like, this is fucking weird, dude. I don't talk in stupid voices. I don't do that shit. It's all about the world immersion, not the character immersion and the character arc and all that crap. And so there was such a thing, I think, in my personal experience, was the Matt Mercer effect. But I got to say, I did enjoy it, and it was okay to watch. It was entertaining. Now, because it was entertaining, I think because they were doing the funny voices, it was almost like watching a show in a weird way, watching a play or something. You know what I mean?
Well, it's definitely better than, and listen, I don't want anybody to take offense when I say this, but pretty much with the exception of 1, all right, maybe 2, quote, real play, actual play podcasts. My personal opinion, again, I respect those that enjoy it. I respect those that do it, but they suck balls. Okay. One of the ones that didn't suck balls was actually it was a family that did it, and it was really well edited, and there was some sound effects added in after the time, and a game session was like whittled down to like 30-35 minutes. Mm-hmm. It was well done, and he didn't actually distribute it as a podcast. He had to go to his blog and like download the episodes. And the other one was Drunks and Dragons, I think it was.
That's right, my alley.
Yeah, and it was a bunch of obnoxious, intoxicated fucks playing.
Wait, when did we live stream our game? What are you talking about, Eric? When did we do that?
No, it wasn't us. We didn't have 5e, and we were a bunch of. But listen, drunks and dragons, or drunkards and dragons, whatever the hell it is called, it's probably still around. Was entertaining enough that I would actually listen to it on my commute home from work sometimes. I go, oh, look at that. They updated it. That's great. But the other real plays, I'm sorry. I don't have it in me to listen. I get bored watching people play a convention if I'm not in the game. I don't know if I can actually watch this. Now, that being said, Critical Role is not like watching a game.
Exactly.
Because they're not stressing the game. The game is almost window dressing compared to what you're seeing. There's another one, the recent one, the one that had the whole brouhaha over the size of the breasts of the puppet that they were using.
Jesus Christ, I missed that brouhaha.
Oh, you missed that brouhaha. Okay.
Puppet boobs, puppet boob drama.
Yeah, it had puppet boob drama.
Oh my God.
And now the female that was playing the puppet Muppet with the large boobs happened to be a larger woman with large boobs. And I actually watched the first episode with Rach so we could see what the drama was. And Rach thought it was highly entertaining and loved it. And here's my general feeling on it. Things like Critical Role, and things like the Muppet drama about boobs series. I'll probably go back to it and watch more episodes. It's on YouTube. I think they appeal to new gamers and gamer adjacent and people that are interested in the concept of gaming because it makes gaming something relatable. This is like watching something on TV. This is like, it's like watching improv comedy.
Yeah, that's what it was like watching the show Critical Role because they were all on game. They were all on their game, rather. They were all in character a lot of the times. Like David said, though, sometimes, David said they screw around too. They do screw around. They're eating pizza, they're eating chips, they're having a good time. You know what I mean? So they're normal. But when they go in character into role play, they do it 10 times better than most normal human beings because they are character actors, voice actors, and this and that. So that's what made it entertaining. That's why I was able to watch it, I think. The only times I've ever really enjoyed some shows was when I wanted to learn how to play a certain game style or see, like Call of Cthulhu. I watched a couple things because I wanted I played it only once and I was thinking about running something, so I wanted to see how to do it. Same thing with Ash. I wanted to see Swords and Swords of Hyperborea. I wanted to see how that weird ass fucking initiative system worked in action that he has, because he tried to mimic AD&D the way it was written, but the way nobody ever played it, and so I couldn't figure it out what the hell he was talking about. So we're gonna have Mike and I are gonna have Jeff next Wednesday. You might want to pop in and ask him questions in the chat. Jeff Tellini?
Yeah,
nice.
We're gonna have Jeff Tellini on next Wednesday.
Nice, man. He's a cool dude, man. He's a really cool dude. He's always willing to talk. Every time I interact with him, he's always a gentleman. Always gives you information. Even if it's like, here's what we're doing. Don't tell nobody because it ain't public yet. He's just that kind of guy. You know what I mean? So I'm glad. What's he talking about? What's he coming on for?
Oh, we're grabbing a special guest from North Texas. So he's going to be a special guest this June. So we got him coming.
Nice.
Jason Braun.
Nice.
Ben Byrne from New Comic Games.
Yep.
We got a whole bunch lined up. So I was like, really? So we got now Tellani. Not only is he a nice guy, he's the nicest guy I know that could kick my ass without even trying.
Yeah, he keeps himself in shape for an old fucker. He's like our age, right? Maybe a little younger. He's 40s.
Maybe a little bit younger. Yeah. I mean, Skeeter Green could also kick my ass, but he's not as nice a guy.
Well, my defense is to fall on them; they'll never recover from it. If I get them under me, I fall on them. They're done. They're done. They're done.
It's gonna be like, tapped out.
That's it. Then you got to help me get off.
This dog is like, I'm just gonna be a lump in the log. I'm just gonna fall asleep in your arms.
Nice.
You can't do that. Look at this. You can't fall asleep, damn it.
Totally is asleep, huh? Look at that.
Yeah, well, she's like, I'm just happy. Daddy's doing something, and I get to be part of it. Okay.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
Derek Jones. No, yeah, throat punch. That would be Gareth Skarka, and he'd have to get out of his chair to even attempt it. So I don't see that happening.
And Ryan Aquilith Media says, I'm with you on that. I can't stand listening and watching RPG Play podcasts. The only one I've ever enjoyed were Acquisitions Inc. back in the day. Yeah, that was okay because, again, that was with people who were in character, was half staged. It was like a half a reality show, right? So I used to watch them sometimes a little bit too. That was when I was trying to figure out 5e. I would watch them play it,
Right.
and I realized it really plays like this anyway, so what the fuck am I watching for? But it was a little bit entertaining. Get Will Wheaton on there sometimes, these guys and whatnot. So it was okay, But I mean, I gotta say, it was decent enough to put on, decent enough to have in the background as I'm packing boxes. And a couple of times I paused packing to see what's going to happen. They roll a 20. You get invested in the characters like anything else, like any TV show. Somebody rolls a natural 20 in the clutch time. It's like, yeah, you sit there and like, oh fuck, I gotta pack more boxes. But you get a little excited about it, So
definitely.
I gotta say, it was pretty good. It was pretty good, And they are playing 5e. That's the other thing.
Yeah. But now Matt Mercer's learned how to monetize that, right? He's learned how to take that to the next level.
Yeah, didn't he have like $1 million Kickstarter or something like that?
I think 2, but I could be wrong.
Jesus Christ, good for him, man! If you could pull that shit off, dude, let's say every guy's dream, every person listening to this podcast wishes they could make millions of dollars as a DM. Every motherfucker of one of you is listening to this saying, "Yep, I agree." Every one of you, that's the thing. If we could all make money doing what we love. Every one of us be doing this for a living. We do our thing. We publish our module on drive-through. We make $5 a year. But that's from our friends who buy it out of pity. But we all wish we could make a fucking fortune off of this.
Well, here, David Betzak, I think he made $11 million.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah. So, yeah, he's reached that level.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sure we could. Enworld just published a list of the gaming companies that have raised over $1 million on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And Frog God Games, Goodman Games.
Frog God? Is this a cumulative number?
Cumulative number, yes.
I was gonna say, what the hell Frog God published that was $1 million product? But
that
makes sense.
Even Goodman hasn't done a $1 million product, but you put out enough. It's constant income, and
yeah, absolutely,
and not for nothing. And I don't know if you've heard this argument, but I've heard people, big companies or people that are published shouldn't be using Kickstarter. That should be for the unknown.
Fuck that. If you can make money, you can make money.
Well, the thing is too, the unknown are the ones that are probably going to crap out on you too. I hate to say it that way.
Yeah.
But when it comes to things like a medium company, Frog God, Goodman, if you do a Kickstarter, you know how much to publish. You're not going to be sitting for years with undistributed goods in your warehouse.
Yeah, exactly.
And people forget the value of that alone is huge.
Yep, I agree. And that keeps a lot of people alive during COVID. I backed, for some reason, I don't know if Troll Lord Games did a lot over COVID or I just haven't tracked a lot of Kickstarters, but over the last year, I had a little extra disposable income because I wasn't hitting the bars, right? And I wasn't going out and doing all these things and eating out and, all this shit. And so basically I had this extra money. I'm like, where does money come from? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm boring now. So I'm like, let me check out Kickstarter. For whatever the hell reason, Troll Lord had a bunch of shit and I backed the hell out of them. I probably dropped $750, $800 on Troll Lord over Kickstarter stuff, but I will, by the end of the day, have a whole lot of their stuff. And it's good information. It's good material. They're good guys.
It's well written stuff. And,
shittily edited, but well written.
Right. Well, yeah. Okay. Listen, the editing has gotten better over the years. Nothing will compare to the first printing of the Castles of Crusades Player's Handbook, where sentences would just disappear mid-sentence. You're like, where are we going with this?
I know. These guys are cool guys, though. They're the kind of guys you could sit at the bar with and just talk. You know what I mean? I bought the thing recently with Gaxmore, I guess, the Lost City of Gaxmore. I paid a reprint or whatever. I picked that up. And they had a whole forward at the beginning talking about how the first time he met Gary at a convention, and the first time he met Luke and all that, and they're hanging. Or was it Luke or the other guy, the other brother, Ernie, and they hit the bars and they're drinking all night and they're talking all night and they're really bonded over that kind of, it's like that. They seem like fun people. They seem like, we're all younger back then, but still they seem like fun guys to hang out with like that,
Yeah, no,
they're good people.
The trolls are good. I listen, Goodman. I don't know. Good. Joe runs his company like a tight ship, so I've never actually got a chance to speak with Joe Goodman. Obviously, the frogs and the trolls are good friends.
Yeah,
those companies have done some stuff together. So
yeah. And I think if you can make money off a Kickstarter, any company, do it, man. Who cares if you're a big company, small company? I mean, it's a place where people could raise funds and have their dream come true. Look, now you're a publisher. You put out your own D&D module, your own D&D book, your dream system that you always tinkered with for the last 30 years is now out there in print. And who cares if 8 people bought it? Who gives a shit? You fucking put it out there. Your dream has come true, man. Good for you.
Right.
That's it.
And I said, and Kickstarter makes it low risk for the publisher.
Yeah.
Usually, the publisher is one takes on all theirs. Do I print 100 copies? Well, the cost is going to be a lot more per copy at 100 copies.
Yep.
But if I print 1,000 copies, my cost per is less. But what if they don't all sell? Well, maybe you print 1,000 copies, they all sell, and now you're kicking yourself for not printing 5,000.
Yeah, and you get practice with things like Zine Quest, right? Like they do with Zine Quest. Little guys can, dip their toe in the water, I guess you could say, and they do these zines and they put them out, and they're, 30 pages, 32 pages. You don't expect too much because it's a zine. You don't expect high quality published shit that you would have bought back in Malden Books back in the day, but you're getting something from a guy who puts his heart and soul into it. I at least I look at Tim. I edit his stuff, for his Zine Quest, and it's like a guy puts out a lot of work into this. Him and Ivy, and they bust their ass and they put their heart and soul into it. They spend months doing it, and I could tell it's a labor of love. They don't do it for the money, Oh, yeah, money's nice, but they're not living off of it. They're passion,
My God, Donkey, you are being a real pain in the ass, Scott. Today, you're like you're like the third host today. You're not saying anything. You're just like, I just want to be seen because the camera keeps on erasing me. It erases me. All right, Donka. Hey, I'm gonna put you down.
What kind of dog is she, man? What's her
breed? She is a miniature long-haired dachshund.
All right. Okay.
So she's about 6.5, 7, maybe a 7. And 7. Thank you, Rich.
I guess yoga's over.
Yep. Yeah. She'll be 7. She'll be 7 in May. And
she's like our age.
Yeah. Also, and what's funny is we actually got the email notification that we were getting her because we were on a list, and we were at North Texas, I believe, in Zach Glazer's AD&D game, and Rach gets an email, and she's looking, and she's like, "We got a dog." It's like fresh parents.
Nice. That's cool, man. Hey, Rach, I don't know if you can hear me. Are we on speaker or no?
No. We weren't. Then we get the horrible feedback.
Yeah. Well, Satine's feedback. She got her fame with Zach. Actually, remember back in the day, she was one of his group, and Zach was one of the earliest people who did shit live. It wasn't a live thing, like it was edited and all that. But I'll tell you what, that show that he had on, that I Hit It With My Axe, I think it was called.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was good because you finally got to see, for me at least, we didn't play with too many other people growing up. We didn't go to conventions. We played with a small group, just a few of us, and the same people. And so you never know if you're doing D&D right. You know what I'm saying? You just got this. I know how I do it, but I don't know if that's the right way to do it. So when you see someone else do it, you're like, right, I don't
what I do. And just because, listen, I've gone to conventions now for years, and I'll step in somebody else's game, and they'll run things a little bit differently than I would run. Yeah. But that's part of the charm of especially old school gaming. Is that everybody has their own little twist and take on it. Joe runs things differently than Greg Christopher would run it, and differently than Tim would run it, and differently than I would run it. But it's all old school gaming. It's just different tweaks and flavors on it.
It's like a different kind of pizza. Still pizza though. You know what I mean? That's the way you look at it, right? But
Yep.
yeah, so she started with him, and then she ended up being the Wizards of the Coast, some kind of an ambassador or representative, or the
community manager or some crap like that. And then she
again, another person who's making money playing D&D. You know, she was able to get out of whatever she was doing before and move on to something different that she wanted to do. She's an artist. She's a good artist. I've seen her work. She's a great artist. She was doing comics at some point too. So yeah, so it's good for her, man. She got out of there and doing something cool. But
when I saw her at a GaryCon, she had like an entourage that like follows her.
Oh, really?
It's just funny to watch, and I think part of the entourage is to keep some of the. And again, I don't want anybody being offended. If you think it reflects upon you, it probably does, but I'm not saying it does. You know, the social miscreants that like it's like, all right, you were awkward. Yeah, you were awkward when you were a teenager. Now you're 40. You haven't
still
learned.
Awkward. You're still awkward, but now you're old, bald, fat, and grizzled. So yeah, you're not gonna get more luck, man.
No. It's not a selling point at that point.
Yeah.
It's like, look,
it's not cute. It's weird.
Yeah. So Derek, I watched that Team Phoenix game recently. The guy playing a bard broke out an acoustic guitar and sang for a couple of minutes. It was a performance, not gameplay. I'm guessing that was to support her new Kickstarter. That is probably at this. I didn't even look at what it's doing today. All I know is it was a couple of 100,000 already. It's insane numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, but I like bards. Now, again, I'm going to preface this. This is me talking. I'm not talking for Joe, and I'm not saying that my taste is any better than anybody else's. But I saw the artwork and the coloring of the artwork or whatever for Satine's latest Kickstarter, the Splat poster that they're sharing, and it was garishly colored, in my opinion. It reminded me of when like they were building like Web 2.0, like from how the web was evolving, and everything had to have these garish colors so it would smack you in the face. I felt, and again, Satine can present herself very well, and she can present products very well, and I'm sure this Kickstarter is going to do very well. I just think it could have been toned down, but maybe that was the look that they were going for.
Yeah. That's what they're. I mean, if it works for them, and they get money off it, more power to you, man. More power to you. You know, how is running games differently having anything to do with old school versus any other version of the game? I think you missed maybe part of what I was talking about there. It's my brother. When I was talking about running games differently, I never knew if I was running it right or wrong. I didn't know if I was running it weird or anything like that. So when I hit it with my axe. I'm like, all right, this is okay. I guess I'm not too different than this. You know, it's like a chimpanzee to a human. You know, it's not too much different in the DNA there. Just that little difference makes all the difference in the world, though, right? But so it's kind of encouraging to me that, like, yeah, okay, I get this. I'm doing okay. You know.
Yeah, and there are different things that old school gaming or old school DMs will stress over what new school DMs are going to stress. You know, the additions do have a difference in the way you approach. Like, again, I came in with AD&D 1A, and I probably run games differently than somebody who came in with Basic Expert, because they were probably more loose in the way they ran things because the system was a lot looser. I came in with a game that we had to strip rules out of because you couldn't understand what the fuck they were. It's like, weapon speed? What the fuck is weapon speed? And really, it only comes into effect when you tie your initiative. And then, oh my God, my head hurts. So AD&D made you literally house rule things out, whereas Basic Expert, you were house ruling things in. And that does affect how you approach things going later on, I think.
Yeah. I think what my brother may have meant is that you could do things differently in any version of the game. I think that's true too. You could, you run 5e games differently. I run them differently depending on my group. Sometimes I run them differently for a library I was playing with. I run it differently with my brother. The game store group I was running for a while. For a while, I was running 3 5e games at once, all set in a parallel universe of the same world and time frame. And so, yeah, you run differently depending on your group. But I try to keep the same feel of an old school feel as much as my group allowed me to do so. I tried to keep an old school feel. Some people revolted, right? So you couldn't do it. But
This can't be right.
Yeah. So they just it was just too much. But I think Matt Jackson, we were talking a little bit today in the chat about. You ever watch this show, Professor Dungeon Master? You ever seen that guy?
No.
It's really fucking good, dude. I recommend every old schooler watch this guy. Is the Professor Dungeon Master, cool show, good guy. You think he runs newer games, but he's like us. He's an old school player, right? He's back in the day. I think he actually had some shit published for Dragon Magazine or Dungeon Magazine when he was a kid, or 20s or whatever. But anyway, he has a great approach to shit, and he has great videos that are scripted, every 10, 20 minutes long or whatever. And he puts out good ideas about how to run 5e old school, things like that, And so he has a proficiency rather initiative system. And I'm reading this from Matt's post in a group here. It says, first step, declare actions. Second step, roll D6. Any loaded bows go first, though. Third action, was a spellcaster hit? Because if it was, it broke his concentration. Fourth, resolve and narrate, And so it's the declaring of the actions first. And if the caster's hit, breaks their concentration instantly. And the thing he does, too, is all simultaneous initiatives happen at the same time. And so you can't do this thing where, so who goes first based on dex or whatever. Sometimes 3 guys choose to go after the one dude, and the one dude is dead, but the third guy is dead before the third guy gets to, but the third guy said, I'm swinging against that guy anyway, so you still swing. You don't get to choose up your action because that's how combat works. It's frantic. It's not
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you get him with a fraction of a millisecond. Oh, he's actually dead. Well, you don't know he's dead. He's not even trapped to the ground yet. You don't get to choose a different subject or a different character or anything like that, right? And so everybody just, I like the frenzy of it, the unknown, the uncertainty of it, And it was pretty neat.
Technically, with like AD&D, you were supposed to declare your actions at the beginning of the round.
Yeah.
So you would declare them, and then it was like, that your target's dead. Theoretically, you were fucked. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Cast your magic missile at the dead guy anyway, because that's where you said you were going to cast it at the beginning of the round. Yep.
Right. So generally speaking, I know I Tonka, what the fuck are you chewing on, dog? I might have to go over there and oh God, Tonka, come over here. You're getting in trouble. I'm gonna have to pick you up again. Oh yeah. Okay.
Her plan worked.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna chew on some random shit.
Yep.
You're gonna hear me crunch, and because like I said, folks, I'm in the Poconos. We're using my parents' place up here, and she's restricted to the kitchen where there is a wooden floor, as opposed to, look at you. Now you're blocking both of us out, dog. As opposed to where there's carpeting, so that's why you hear her nails going all along the floor. Yep. But don't hit the keyboard. You're causing trouble, Doc. I'm gonna have to give you to your mother soon. Jesus. But now I lost my train of thought. Thank you, dog. I was gonna say prior to this though, like I run games differently at conventions than I do at home. Yeah. Because conventions have a time frame. Whereas I'm running a game via VTT or in person, I know if we run long, we just come back in 2 weeks or whenever we're going to come back. And I know that if I'm at a convention, there is no coming back. It has to wrap up. Yeah. So, okay, dog, I'm going to hold you like this, and you're going to look lovely. And I am going to get very tired very fast holding you like this. You really, she does look very sweet. She is very sweet. I will say that. But man, she gets into trouble. Yeah.
That's a dog's roll, man. But the Professor Dungeon Master show is called Dungeon Craft. Has 65,000 subscribers. Jesus Christ, we should get him on here, man. He might
Damn,
bring
no, yeah, he might bring a few.
He's only been doing it a few years though, man. But he has such a great presentation, just a great show style. It's not like us that it's just a random conversation. But he's one of the few people I back on Patreon for like $5 a month.
Right.
I think you, Tim, Ivy, him, not too many others. Great guy, and he has good content for subscribers. He'll have like an extended edition of the video with 5 minutes where he's just bullshitting. You know what I mean? But good ideas, such great ideas. He's a cool dude, and everybody go subscribe to Dungeon Craft. Seriously, it's a great show. You will not regret it. He's the best thing. You like in a shower? He's like your 20-minute shower, right? That's the guy to listen to. You know, you put it on, you take your shower, you get out, you're drying off, you're just finishing off when you're done, and it's a great show. You always get some good ideas out of the guy, you know. But I think we were talking about simultaneous initiative and declaring actions and spellcasters and concentration.
Yeah. Oh God. Again, AD&D. I tried running games. When I was a new DM, I tried running with all the bells and whistles turned on.
Yeah.
And that lasted, I think, 3 sessions before we realized that we were getting nowhere. B, I was confused to all hell because it's like, wait a second, when was your spell going off? Well, your spell, it takes 3 seconds to cast, but you started your initiative roll. And now, when did the attack? Was the attack going to be after? But if it's before, and if it's simultaneous, do spells go off before missile weapons? I know spells go off before melee. What's your order? Oh, I was like, this is too much like wargaming. And since none of my friends wanted to play any kind of war games,
I once saw a flow chart. Some nerd created a flow chart of AD&D's combat initiative turn system. It was based because Gary never wrote it in one fucking place, of course, being Gary. He wrote it in 68 different places over every span of all the things he ever put out, right? So some idiot actually took the time and sat down and figured out a flow chart based on Gary's actual combat rounds, initiative, speed, all that, yada, yada. The thing was like the corporate flow chart from hell. It's like picture the IBM corporate flow chart from the CEO down to the janitor. That's how this fucking chart worked. It was insane. I was like, how the hell can anybody figure this out? That was the point. Nobody did. Everybody's used BX and just took the AD&D spells and some of the cooler class abilities and just used the BX system, right? Because it worked. It was simpler, you know? I mean,
definitely.
Shit. What is the BX system? The combat old school essential says it. Declare spells and retreats. Initiative, each side rolls a d6. Number 3, winning side acts. You do monster morale, movement, missile attacks, spell casting, melee attacks, and then 4, the other side acts in initiative order. You know, but I kind of like. I don't do it like that per se. I like the old school game where the players. I don't really do the declare the actions part. But I do group initiative because I like when the players can just figure out for like a few seconds is all I give them 5 seconds. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? And let them talk really quick.
Be impulsive and go with it. Yeah. You know, your brother, Michael, my point is that what you're talking about has nothing to do with what version of the game you're talking about.
Yeah.
But here's the thing is you can't house roll 5e on the fly. You can house roll AD&D on the fly.
That's true.
Okay? You can't. 5e breaks. The moment you start house ruling it, it breaks. And why does it break? Because it's a well-designed system where every piece of that system fits well with other pieces. And when you start thinking that you know better, it starts breaking down. In AD&D, if you know better, you actually might know better than what Gary had planned.
Because Gary didn't know what the hell he was doing sometimes. But I house ruled the living fuck out of 5e though. And the only way it works is I cut out just like huge chunks of it. You know what I mean? So my house rules, it's a hacking away at it. It's not changing it so much as it is hacking away at it. Right? It's just like taking out pieces so that I pare it down to make it like a bonsai tree. I make it my own. Right. You know what I mean?
Well, and now and that the bonsai tree analogy is interesting because a bonsai tree it's you're taking small clippings at a time to shape it.
Yeah.
You know, and that is probably again you can hack AD&D or Basic Expert, and you're probably not going to break anything. You'll make something different, but you're not going to break it. But if you take big hacks at 5e, you're going to be left with a pile of shit in your hands. But small, adjustments, treating it like a bonsai is certainly like what was it? Miss Garther, the Arthurian 5e hack, is a great. It's 5e that I would probably run.
Yeah.
And dare I say that? Don't anybody quote me on it and go to the convention. Run Miss Garther, because I won't have the book with me, so fuck you. But it's a good treatment of 5e, but it's somebody who took the time to do the bonsai trimming of 5e.
Yeah.
By the way, David Betzek said that your friend on YouTube is in New York.
I thought so. I thought he was like Long Island or something for some reason. He barely has a discernible New York accent. I don't know what he does for a living, but he's sort of gotten rid of it if he ever had one. But yeah, I heard that. That might be something to do. We can maybe, I don't know, can't hurt to reach out to the guy. You know what I mean? Let's see what he does. I mean, he's a pretty cool dude. He seems like he's kind of regular. He might do it. You never know. He might join us in the podcast.
Professor Dungeon Master was on Questing Beast in a three-way convo with Seth
Skorkowski. Who the fuck is Seth Skorkowski? Who?
I've seen some Questing Beast, and it's actually not bad. It's pretty good.
He's all right. He's pretty good.
Yeah. Here's the thing: when I watch a lot of YouTube, usually it's with rates, so my ability to watch stuff that's strictly gaming is limited to. It's like, is Rach like doing like work, like her data entry for work at the moment? I can watch gaming related stuff.
Okay.
Is she actually paying attention? All right, we gotta watch our mad Norwegian who's exploring Mexico and does pool tricks. We gotta watch that because she's enjoying that. I enjoy it too, so I'm not complaining.
Who the hell is Seth Skorkowski though? I've seen the Questing Beast dude. He's all right. Sometimes some of his shit's in the name. The name of the other podcast with Professor name. Professor Dungeon Master is on that other. What the hell did I call it? Professor Dungeon Master is on the show. Let me open my closed tabs to find it. It is Dungeon Craft. Dungeon Craft is Professor Dungeon Master's show. 65K subscribers. Yeah.
The AD&D combat flow chart is called Addict.
Addict. Okay. Go find it, everybody. Yeah. I think you wanted to touch base a little bit about something else that's going on recently. And actually, I listened to your podcast about this, the YouTube video about this while I was taking a shower. It's a perfect length. It was like a 15-20 minute video. So that's my perfect shower length from getting in, brushing my teeth, getting out, drying off. It's like a 20-minute thing. So I'm like, it's a perfect length because I wanted to hear what you were talking about. So what's going on? Give them the brief background.
Well, the brief is, listen, I've been blogging for nearly 12 years. I've been podcasting on Cavern Chat for nearly 3, but I've been involved in podcasting, my God, since I was still working. So probably 6 or 7 years I've been podcasting off and on. And now, obviously, we're doing the vidcast, and the vidcast get converted to the podcast, and that's been working spot on. But and maybe it's because now with every blog post, I do share a link to a recent video because, listen, the audiences don't necessarily overlap. They're different mediums. I understand that.
Yeah.
When I came into blogging, because I initially been reading forums and participating. So I was participating in a BioWare forum for Baldur's Gate back in the day before when I was just playing. And I remember getting into arguments with some dumb fucktard who insisted that Gary Gygax put his name on every product and stole credit from other people left and right. And I was like, really? And I started just naming a bunch of classic AD&D adventures that Gary's name was not on.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh. So I was involved in this stuff before I became involved in this stuff.
Yeah. I was doing Dragon's Foot and Ian World, and those are my main ones. Yeah, Ian World and Dragon's Foot was where I was hanging for a while before the blog thing.
Back when it was actually Eric Noah's site. So when I came into blogging was picking up. It was becoming huge. This was the days when old school gaming was on the rise and blogging was on the rise, and you couldn't sneeze without hitting a blogger.
Yep.
Literally. And forums were still strong. They, first North Texas, as I've mentioned this story, that first Wednesday night at the hotel pool, one other schmuck in the pool besides Rach and I, and Rach is like, he's got to be here for the con, and he was, but he had no idea who the fuck I was. And she's like, "Oh, you're here for the con?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm here for the North Texas RPG Con." "Oh, well, no, my husband, I work Tenkar." He's like, "Who?" "Tenkar." He's like, "Who?" "Tenkar's Tavern, the blog." No. I'm like, are you Dragon's Foot or Knights and Knaves or? He's like, "Oh, I'm on Dragon's Foot." I go, "Rates, yeah. Forums and blogs. There is some crossover, but there wasn't much of a crossover back then. It was very distinct elite communities."
And they all kept to themselves. There was a very little bleed over too. You know, the funny thing, Eric, real quick, I just want to say something. Yeah. You mentioned the boards, and I'm looking back at my own bookmarks here. I kept my bookmarks forever, right? And I'm looking at them, and I have a D&D, and then I have boards. And I have a list of all the boards I used to be on. Listen to this shit. These are just in the order they're listed. The RPG site, EN World, Paizo.com, Tabletop Role-Playing RPG Forums, Dragon's Foot, Knights and Knaves, OD&D 74, Swords and Wizardry Forums, the RPG Haven, Pen and Paper Games, Cannon Fire, fucking Cannon Fire, Jesus Christ, the Delver's Dungeon, the ACAEUM forums, Candlekeep forums, the New York Red Box, which is Tavis Allison's thing we used to play back in New York. Remember that? The Piazza, 3.5 Private Sanctuary, the Gaming Den, Goblin Lloyd Games, Lamentations had their own forum, Brave Halfling had their own forum, the Gaming Den, the Wizards Community Forum, Troll Lord had their own forum, Falcon, which was like a 1-year convention in Connecticut, had their own forum, CT Gamers Association, the Dragonlance forums. Holy shit, man, the Gary Con forums, the Story Game forums. These are all my list of all the forums I had back in the day. And everyone, I was pretty much JoetheLawyer in every one of these. Everyone had their own.
I was active on Troll Lord forums for a lot.
Yep. And so I whenever there was something going on, you had to post all these different fucking forums to figure out what was going on because they all had their own little niche. And then sometimes there was bleed over, sometimes there wasn't, you know? So there you go.
Toon Bunny. Jesus, man, do you have any GeoCities bookmarks? He probably does. Maybe even a MySpace or two.
I did have a MySpace account, man. I didn't pimp it out like all the cool kids did. I just kind of like was on there because it was the only thing in town.
Just so I can have one. But,
anyway, go ahead. I just wanted to give you a list of all the forums. That gives you an idea of what we're talking about, you know.
So forums were huge. And then blogs were huge, and then blogs started hitting that apex, and then forums started falling behind.
Yep.
Okay, and then blogs started falling as podcasts started taking precedence. A lot of really good gaming podcasts came out.
Well, you know what killed the blogs? Google Plus killed the fucking blogs, the old school ones.
Google, and I'll tell you why it killed the old school blogs. And it isn't necessarily because it was Google Plus. It didn't kill the blogs until it integrated Google Plus into the blogger comments.
Yep.
I did that for half a day, and right away I was getting PMs from people saying, "Hey, I'm not on Google Plus, and now I can't comment on your post." And I was like, you know what? It's a closed. It's literally a closed box. I'm not doing this. I am not going to put up a wall around my garden. Yep. I'm opening this stuff up right away. Now others, I did the same thing. Others went along with the closure. Mm-hmm. So once that happened, now a lot of these blogs became extensions of Google Plus, which initially for them probably increased their traffic, but in the end,
destroyed the blogs.
It destroyed the blogs because then the conversations moved to Google Plus. And then what happened? Google said, "Fuck you." And Google killed Google Plus. And then all these blogs that were using Google Plus for their comments,
died.
Really, they died.
Yeah, because we used to comment on the blogs. We used to have this great comment thing, and the bloggers, everybody was on Blogger, right? For the most part, Blogger had a great system to filter out bullshit and spam, but they just gave up on that after a while. So everybody started turning off their comments, like I did, because they kept getting, oh, your dick too small. Here, have some pills to make it whatever. It was that kind of shit you're getting all the time, right? And so it's like everybody turned off their comments and either made a moderator or just turned them off. There's no essential place to talk anymore about shit, you know.
Right. And Ryan brings up another point, and I'm going to actually double down on that one. Blogs took a hit when Google took away Reader. They also took a hit when Google fucked FeedBurner. FeedBurner was a way for you to subscribe to a bunch of blogs and either get the full post or some of us, I did it for a while, limited you to maybe like the first, 300 words of the post. And then you wanted to see the rest, you had to go to the blog. And it was where a good portion of my blog traffic was coming from at that time. And then FeedBurner got destroyed. And when FeedBurner got closed down, it affected my traffic for about 6 months. But then people found me otherwise. People enjoyed the tavern. They still found it. But there's a lot of other blogs that it didn't. And the thing is, look with the tavern. For the longest time, I was posting 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a day.
You're a working man. You had to do something to work all day.
Exactly. That's what I'm realizing. When I had to work, when I had to do work, I had a lot of work. When I had no work, the reason why I brought my own personal laptop to work is that I could whittle away at this stuff on the side and then put it out. Obviously, now that I'm retired, I don't have all that free time. Figure that one out.
My father said the same thing. I'm more busy now than when I was working. that's it. Yeah.
So, if you want to know what happened with why blogs took this big hit, yes, and it's funny because you think about it. Well, one of the biggest providers of blogs is Google. They own Blogger. But they're the ones that did everything that possible to hamper blogs. Yeah. Now, at the same time, and I'm very surprised that Google hasn't found a way to get involved in podcasts. Podcasts were rising as blogs were falling. And when blogs were falling, forums were already singing their death knell.
And I'll give you one more thing that fucked it up. Twitter. Fucking Twitter came in around the same time. People started using it a lot. Now, 144 characters, you're going to make one statement and hope to get a lot of retweets or whatever the fuck. But I swear to God, I think between Twitter and iPhones and just an overall more of a busyness in people's lives, a more frantic, hectic, fast-paced, no time to do anything. People don't have the time to, number one, write long blog posts. Number two, read long blog posts, right? The pace of life just increased. And the communication mediums between texting and Twitter and everything got shorter. And people just like, oh, read 500 words. Fuck you. I'm going to read 144 characters. Or why can't you say that quickly? Why can't you just make your point in 3 sentences? Motherfucker, shut up. I want to think deeply about something and write it all out there. You know what I mean? But nobody was willing to read it. The only person who's still doing that's James Scragnardia guy. You know what I mean? He came back and he's doing like 18 posts a day or some shit. But I mean, they're so weird, like niche of a niche, esoteric. But still, he's doing it though.
He's doing it, but here's the thing. James does not have the following that he used to have. If you look at his Alexa rankings, it took a huge hit.
Well, he took 7 years off, right? He took 7 years off, I think, or something.
He took a long period. He came back and then he left, and then he wasn't serious about coming back until he was serious about coming back.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Media does change.
Yeah.
Now, I am one of the few in old school gaming or RPG gaming that has been doing a blog steadily for 12 years, been doing it basically daily. I think I've missed 3 posts like in the last 3 days in the last, 8-9 years. So not a bad record, not the perfect record I would like, but
you're in a hospital, dude. It happens. I mean, shit. Don't blame yourself, man.
But here's the thing. At the same time, I've been doing it for 12 years, so I needed to whack things up. So when Anchor came out, and I saw people like Tim Shorts doing Anchor
Yep.
and Jason Hobbs doing Anchor. I was like, hey, I've done podcasts. I can figure this crap out. It's easy enough. And I really enjoy putting out, so like Anchor has evolved into doing YouTube live streams or YouTube videos that now get converted to Anchor, because I think that most of the stuff that works as a spoken visual, works as a spoken without the visual. You can definitely move it in that direction. Now, again, I still put out a blog post every day except for Sundays, where Chris Doggle, he takes over Sundays. But there's been talk over at the Tavern's Facebook community, and I'll say it, Jonathan Perkle, love the man. He is John knows what he wants. Okay, he's got a strong personality. He knows what he wants, and he'll say it. And he mentioned yesterday that he felt that I was doing a disservice to the readers of the blog because I wasn't sharing all the information, all the news on the blog. And as I stated, some of this news, it's easier for me to talk about something for 15 minutes than to try to put that into a written post that might take me an hour and a half to 2 hours to put down. And, I don't necessarily have 2 hours to do that with. Also, I'm doing a daily video, daily YouTube. So this all takes time, and I try not to repeat it. If you read the blog, do you want to watch the same thing on YouTube? If you watch on YouTube, do you want to read the same thing on the blog? I like to have, for the most part, different information. Sometimes it's complementary information. But again, recently I started adding, inserting video links on the blog posts for recent videos, and now he rightfully so feels that I should be writing about Gareth Sharker. I should be writing about my good friend Ken the Wit Whitman. But that being said, I don't want to repeat myself because it doesn't become fun for me. All right. And one thing I will disagree with Jonathan about is he said I was neglecting my customers on the blog side, and I don't have customers. I have a community. If you want to tell me I'm neglecting a community on the blog side for the written word, that's an argument you could certainly make. But to say I'm neglecting my customers, the little money I make from this hobby, whether it's through affiliate links or self-publishing, 90% goes back to this community anyway. I'm not paying bills with the money I'm making, whether it's from blogging. I make nothing from the YouTube videos. I make nothing from the podcast. I haven't gotten Anchor. Not only has Anchor not given me ads to run in the last 2 years, I have $60 in my Anchor account that is owed to me, but I have no way to cash it out.
Yeah.
So, this part isn't paying me. I do this though because I enjoy it, and B, I feel it's a service to the community. Now, I think that overall we're still doing something right, because the tavern's traffic on a blog side in the U.S., the tavern ranks higher, or in traffic, lower number is better. The tavern ranks better than RPG.net. Good old Big Purple.
Wow, that's pretty fucking impressive, dude. That's okay.
A forum.
Yeah,
that's a huge. That used to be the hugest forum.
Yeah.
I'm within. I wouldn't say a stone's throw, but if you want to, if you're trying to stretch a single into a double, to use a baseball analogy, I've got a strong enough arm that I might be able to at some point throw you out in second base.
Yeah.
And that's worldwide traffic. It's within that. It's within that range.
Do you think you want to? You think, I know that the point you're trying to make, I think, is that the thing doesn't carry over. Certain things for different mediums and certain things for different times. But when you look at it, do you ever see yourself going back to doing more forum posts, more blog posts rather, like you used to do? Do you ever see that?
Actually, what I would rather do with the blog, I would love to be like the old gnome stew.
Yeah.
I used to love going to Notes too.
That was pretty good.
It wasn't just Martin, but he had a whole team of people that were producing content, and with some of it shitty content.
Yeah. But they had a great blog presentation style, though, too. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was pretty good.
So would I like to add more people to the Tavern's roster? I would love to, because I really see the blog more as a community place. The blog is the reason why the Facebook community and the Discord community got formed.
Yeah.
And I would love to see other guest posters. I would love to see maybe a regular poster that somebody's like, oh, I'd like to pick up every other Wednesday and I'll post about whatever. That would be great, because what? Just like I love having Joe as a co-host and Glenn and Bad Mike, working with other people means that, well, first off, I don't know if everybody wants to just hear my voice 7 days a week. I don't know if everybody wants to read my words, just my words 7 days a week. So allowing change into it, I think, is awesome. And I'm more than willing and looking forward to having more people participate. But will I be back to doing 2-3 blog posts a day? I don't see it. And the thing is, one post a day, the blog is doing better traffic, better ranking on Alexa than I think it's ever done in its history. So I'm doing something right, but it's certainly not going to please everybody. And I understand that some people I don't have the time to listen to a 15-minute podcast every day. I listen. I feel your pain. I no longer commute. When I was commuting, I was listening to everything. Now they no longer commute.
That's what I used to listen to when I was driving to work. This past year, though, not driving to work, And so you would think that I have more time to listen or read these pods, these blogs, but I don't. I just don't. Like, these guys are talking about these great blogs that are still kicking it out there. Delta Zine Hotspot, and Delta, he just did a recent, this is what started the Manganiello fucking thing that tied it all back together. He did an interview with Joe Manganiello and some dude from Pittsburgh that Joe played with, who now is a resident of Connecticut and is like a high school teacher, a grade school teacher, something like that. And I'm watching this thing, and I guess one of the guys knew the teacher, and so they pulled in, I would suspect they pulled in Manganiello for the podcast or something because of your friend connection. So they got him on there for like an hour talking about stuff. And it was kind of cool because it was like two guys from back in the day who used to play in the 90s talking about the old days, right? And so I listened to Delta's D&D Hotspot. I think he was the guy who did that, right? Well, the Alexandrian is still killing it. 10-foot pole, good stuff. He's been around forever.
They are, but here's the thing: they're not doing the traffic that the big blogs were doing back in the day, and that's a shame. Now, listen, like Rick Anderson, and Rick's been a long time follower of the blog and part of the community. Thanks for talking about this particular subject, and specifically the Tavern blog versus the podcast, the vidcast. I really appreciate the blog, as I can read it far, far faster than you can talk. The joke is that I know of at least 2 people that listen to my podcast at double speed. All right. I don't know if I can listen to a podcast at double speed, but they tell me I talk too slower. I'm a New Yorker, so I don't know how that works. But I agree. Listen, but what takes me 15 minutes to put up as a podcast, and 15 minutes where I can talk and get my point across and maybe cross-reference stuff.
Yeah.
That to put that into blog format is probably going to take me an hour and a half, and I'm pretty quick at my post compared to others that I know. And yes, you'll consume it in 3 or 4 minutes. On your end, it's certainly great bang for your buck, but nobody's paying anything anyway, including me. So sometimes I need the bang for the buck, which is the vidcast and a podcast.
Yeah.
That being said, I will never stop being a blogger.
Yeah.
And there are times now, by the way, here's something that I am considering. I mentioned this in the Facebook community. I can't say it's going to happen, but if I have enough people say please, then okay. I could see myself doing a weekly recap of what's up on this podcast / vidcast. But that weekly recap, and it's not going to satisfy everybody. It's going to be a paragraph or 2 about each of the episodes. Yeah. And then a link to the episode. So if you like if it looks interesting to you, maybe you got enough information to satisfy yourself. And if you want more, you might have to go and spend a little time. That way, you're not going to have to spend like, I don't have time to listen to this shit.
Oh.
All right. Well, maybe you will be able to pick and choose the ones that you do want to listen to. That being said, if I put together a blog post like that once a week, that's probably going to take me an hour and a half to 2 hours to put together. That's going to be a blog post that would otherwise be something else. It's going to be the recap. Yeah. But if there's an interest in it, listen, you can call the voicemail number. You can email me at tenkarstavern@gmail.com. If you're on Facebook, you can message me or mention it in the community, Tenkar Tavern community, or in Discord. I'm everywhere. But, I mean, that might be, again, not the perfect solution, because I know people are going to bitch that, oh, well, you didn't give enough information. Again, I only have so much time in the day. And, you
used to do a news thing. It was, for the most part, remember, it was that Smith. What's his last name? What's his first name? Smith. What's his last name? He had a great news blog, and then you
James Smith.
He passed away, but you kind of took over that job of his when he stepped down,
right? Because James was always about these are the new releases. And I'll be honest with you too. There are the detractors of Tenkar, like, oh, Tenkar, he's like the weekly world news of gaming, or GQ of gaming, depending on how they want to refer to me. Because I'll talk about Gareth Skarka, right? I will talk about my good friend Ken Whitman, and other people won't. They won't touch these topics, but they feel like I'm stirring shit. Well, maybe I am.
Maybe stirring shit's how I got viewers, dude, on my blog. The more I stirred this shit. In fact, who was it who called me the shit stirrer back in the day? The more Joe stirs the shit, or something. I forget what the hell it was, but yeah, that's what I did, and that got me the views. That got me the reads. Even when I inadvertently stirred this shit, like the 2000 Coppers thing, I was too hungover and tired to know I was stirring the shit, and I was stirring the shit. That probably got me the most views, but that's how you get the views, right? You got to stir it up, man.
Yeah, definitely.
They're talking about Bryce here. Yeah, he didn't give as positive a review of a thing I worked on as an editor, but I guess people respect his opinions. But whatever. His preferences are broader, but I respect his opinions. The man is right about what he cares about. His review of Horror of the Dragon Queen is a masterclass in module writing. I never read it. Maybe I'll have to go back and read it again. Yeah. And he does have high, narrow standards, I guess, this Bryce guy. But, but he puts it out there at least. He sits down, he takes the time, he reads the shit, he thinks about it, and he writes it all out, which is more than I can say for myself lately. You look at my blog, what is it? It's advertisements for my Anchor podcast. I used to do my brother, the Joe and Bro Campfire Drunk Show. And it's recently, it's a lot of stuff I had done that I created for my 5e game. I did variations on various things, house rules, things like that. So that's all my blog has been recently. It wasn't a deep thought blog. It wasn't even a ball buster blog or a shit stirrer blog. It was just me putting out, here's what I'm doing lately, and just advertising my Anchor thing. And so I hardly get any views. There's nothing there, But Anchor podcast, it's the way to go. And I don't know that it's a different time in my D&D gaming life. I mean, back then we were all trying to figure out what the hell is old school gaming all about, right? We were all relearning. We're all figuring it out. So we were all sharing our thoughts about what is or what isn't, or, how could we do things differently? We're all kind of learning together. It was like a bunch of different gaming groups all came together at a convention and sat down and started talking for a while, for a few years. And all these thoughts came out. That time is over. Those thoughts have been integrated into 5e, for fuck's sake, right? And, I think we took that groupthink experiment as far as we could. Then we played on Google Plus, and we did a lot of Hangout games on Google Plus, right? Google Hangouts. Right. And that thing was over. And things just shifted. We're into a different time now. What we did before doesn't resonate anymore with us, nor with the people who are reading or listening. Now it's more go, less time. And
things evolve. And listen, when it came to blogs, Blogger was the reason why all these blogs started coming out. Great, simple interface that could allow anybody to do a blog. You didn't have to learn WordPress and plugins and shit like that.
Yep.
Great. Anchor lowered the bar for people to come in to podcasting. And I'm going to tell you right now, I use StreamYard, and for about $20 a month, not only can I do these live streams that look quasi-professional, holy shit, but I can even record stuff with StreamYard and not have to worry about any other software and get stuff up quick, easy, without getting my hands dirty. So again, lowering the bar. And I think that I'm looking forward. I think I mentioned this elsewhere, but I'm looking forward to what the next generation of the evolution is going to be. It's probably going to be have something to do with VR. Maybe you're going to be able to do like a VR vidcast. And people are going to sit down and they're going to interact with your virtual avatar. I think that would be really, fucking huge.
If I could think about virtual dollars and my virtual thong, and I could do a virtual thing, I'm good to go, man. You could pay me like that.
You're gonna pay me in Bitcoin. That's right. Bitcoin. But it is. Listen, there's a saying that if you're pleasing everybody, you're probably doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And I used to always say, well, as long as I have people that are pissed at me, I'm doing something right, because it means that I'm speaking truth to power when I point out the not the failures, but the intentional fuckovers that are happening to our community by certain people that are shitards or fucktards, what do you want to call them?
Yeah, I like shit-tard. That's a new one. I like shit-tard. That's good.
Yeah, shit-tard. Yeah,
I like that. I can use that.
That's the PG-13 version of the phrase, I guess.
Yeah, I like that.
But when you got to think about it, if I'm doing stuff on the blog that is not being repeated on YouTube, or if I'm doing stuff on YouTube that's not being repeated on the blog, and people are not happy they're missing out on information, that means at least I'm putting out valid information on both sides. That way.
I had a judge I knew who he do mediations a lot to try to resolve whatever the hell's going on. And I'd sit in on some of them, try to figure out, how you can't go wrong trying to figure out how a judge thinks as a lawyer, right? Because a lot of it applies to multiple judges. And he says, as long as everybody walks away a little bit unhappy, you did a good job. So that makes sense, man. I mean, it really does make sense.
Because it means that you were, to be fair, not you can't be fair and have people all walk away feeling like they're happy unless you lie to everybody.
Yeah. You can't bullshit the whole world, right. All the time, right?
And I'd like to think, and I'm sure I'll be corrected if I'm wrong. I like to think I don't lie to my community or the community that I'm a part of. So,
Yeah, definitely.
By the way, Matt says that if you're here, this can't be professional quality. I said it could appear to be professional. Look, I actually put a background up. It's not those StreamYard leaves, which, by the way, somebody pointed out to me. Why do you have those dumb leaves in the background? And actually, it was Ben Barsh. I was like, I don't know any better. I'm like, oh, look, I actually can put backgrounds up. Well, I guess I'll put the bar up in the background. By the way, Craig Brasco did the artwork that you're looking at back here.
Oh, no shit, did he?
Yes.
He's a fucking awesome artist, man.
Craig did the artwork. I am the dwarf. I believe the halfling is supposed to be James Spahn.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
Jason Paul McCartan is the big Scotsman.
I miss playing our Saturday night games. Remember we did that all the time? It was me, you, and Craig, and those guys. It was a fun fucking time, man. That was a good time. That was a really good time. That was cool. Now we did different, and we start late and play really late,
Oh, jeez. It'd be like, it's 4:30 in the morning. I think I'm going to be up at like 8. I think I got plans with Rach. What the fuck am I doing? or I'd be up here on really bad DSL, and I'd be like, Jesus, I got to turn off the video, guys, because I don't think I can handle it.
Gabor Lux. By the way, Matt, we were talking about you earlier, of course, because no podcast is complete without bringing in the Jackson. But yeah, we were. I don't know if you were here before, but I was talking about what you were saying in that the hangout thing where you were mentioning about the Professor Dungeon Master of Dungeon Craft, and I recommend everybody join and watch his channel about the initiative and his system and all that stuff, and quoted you in there. So yeah, I quoted you warmly and accurately. And we didn't invite you on, except I know you're probably wearing your tidy whities, and we don't never ever want to see that shit again. So that's
no. That's okay.
yeah, we
man.
don't need that, man. We don't need that. But yeah. So anyway, yeah. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, Gabor Lux. Now I've heard his name forever, right? Gabor Lux, Hungarian designer. Xyntillan. What the hell is that? Is that a super module or something? XYNTILLAN. What is that? What's that all about?
Weren't these all people that were commenting on your dungeon is suck? I used to, yeah, Gabor Lux. He'd be picked on, but he'd comment too. I don't know why anybody would comment on Yiddish back in the day, but it was a train wreck. I have my suspicions as to who was involved in that train wreck.
Yeah, they were shitheads. They were fucking shitheads. I remember that. They were busting my balls years ago, saying that I paid to play in Zach's game or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, you douchebag? You know, they were just assholes. They were just totally making shit up and spreading it around. So yeah. If I write a module, what was that? If I write a module, and Bryce really liked it, but said it needed editing, and I had an editor who ended up being a terrible person. That means I can't, dude. Maybe it's just a run, but I can't follow what the fuck you're talking about there, Vauban. What? Can you follow that?
Yeah, great confused me on that one, but I'll accept it.
All right.
I'll just say, okay. Need more alcohol. Need more Blue Moon Light Sky.
Oh, Teagle Manor. That's what Xyntillan is, like a Teagle Manor kind of a module. Okay. Launch campaign levels 1 to 6, inspired by Teagle Manor. Is it as like, I don't know, the Teagle Manor, the thing I didn't like about it is that the layout of the place. I get it that it was actually like made to look like a house with like walls and doors, and such a boring thing. Like walk down a hallway, 8 doors on each side of each hallway. It's like, oh my god, just shoot me, you know. It just didn't make a lot of sense. But if he managed to pull it off better than Teagle Manor did, that's more power to him, man. More power to him. Maybe I'll check it out there, you know. But yeah, the name Gabor or whatever has been around forever and a half. I just don't know who the hell he is, you know.
Yeah, I think he used to comment a lot on the RPG site.
Yeah. Doom Bunny says, quick vote, flavor text or no? If by flavor text you mean the sort of the gray box text that you read as people enter the room, I like it. I've always been that way. I know a lot of people, old school guys, hate it because they just want the DM to make it up and all that, but I've always liked box text. Maybe it's because the era I started in had a lot of box text. The era I started was more Temple of Evil 1984 style.
Right.
That era, you know what I mean? I know the older ones didn't have the box text, but I like box text because it's a chance for the DM, number one, to learn how to describe shit if you're new, and number two, to channel the voice of the creator of the module itself, right? You can get the style, tone, feel, whatever you want to call it, of the module from the box text. And that's something, that's the only time that the actual writer of the module has his true voice heard. That's why I kind of liked it, you know?
Oh, okay. Greg explained himself.
Okay.
Bryce liked his Adventure Last Candle, but said it was great but needed editing. And Greg said he had an editor, but they ended up being a crazy SJW. It's Google Plus.
Oh, okay.
So I think
I win.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Well, if you have a glass that's half empty and half full, that would certainly be the half full design there, right? Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. And you could always drink it and get a refill too if that's, just don't worry about it. Not a big deal. Flavor text is good for the tired DM. I agree.
Here's my flavor text. Yes. Text speech. Text, like you walk in and you have to read out a speech from no.
Yeah, no, that's
canned words are not what from an NPC or a creature are not what I want in my event. You might say generally what, because listen, if you tell me generally what the NPC is going to say, I can say it and sound natural.
Yeah.
But if I have to, jack off, the Morbid says, "Ho, adventurer, I must tell thee now, you have three things to do." Yeah, I don't want to do anything. Shut up. I have to read out these 3 things to you. You have 3 things
Yeah,
No, you can't do that, man. You can't.
You know what? I like the flavor. I like the box text for room descriptions, right? That was what I enjoyed. I did not like the I'm gonna pull it up, I think, if I can here. I have Temple of Elemental Evil somewhere. It mysteriously, I guess it just appeared on my hard drive someday. I don't know how the hell it got
I
there.
wouldn't know how that could
I
happen.
can't imagine how that fucking happened, right?
You
So
you must have a trove of adventures on your
it's somewhere I just fucking appeared, right? So
right.
so here you go. We got this player's description, right? The party is now approaching the village of Hamlet, having ridden up from the lands of the wild, and it's like 1, 2, 3 long fucking paragraphs, right? It's like, dude, we don't need all of that. Let the DM write his own goddamn thing. And then
But you know what? You need
background.
if there's a word count that you have to hit on the adventure, then you need those. You submit it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, but however, flip side, right? Let me get to the description of Hamlet, and all you guys could let me see here, or have a little memory lane kind of thing. I'm looking for the actual. There's the Grove, the Manor House. Where the fuck is the goddamn inn? All right. Oh, it's probably under detailed buildings, right? Because it didn't make any fucking sense. The way this thing was sort of laid out. All right, so here we are. Detailed buildings, the Inn of the Welcome Wench. Great fucking name, first of all. More detail, more background. All right, so you walk into the common room. The large place is bright and cheerful. It contains several rough-hewn tables and chairs, boards and benches. Natural tree trunk pillars support the ceiling overhead, all dark with smoke and age. A motley group of people is here. Perfect. That's what I'm looking for. Give me that. Now, as the players take that in for a second, what I'm doing is reading the next couple sentences so I can stay one step ahead of them, right? Because there's no way you can read and memorize the whole fucking module. You can get the gist of it, but you're not going to read and memorize the whole goddamn module. That's the level of flavor text I'm looking for, right? The same thing with like the moat house, right? I'm looking at the moat house. The broken gates. The door is hanging open on one great hinge. The other is splintered and holed, but still in position, wedged and shored closed from the inside. That gives the players enough to think that, okay, it's wedged from the inside. It's probably inhabited. What's in there? As they're thinking about what's in there, what they should do, how they should approach it, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm reading the next couple paragraphs. A careful examination of the ground here reveals boot prints in the ground heading for the building steps at Area 5. 50% likely that a pair of brigands from Area 7 are here. See the party retreat to their lair. So I'm taking all this in, and as they decide, okay, so it means there's somebody in there, blah, blah, blah. So they say, I'm going to look around. Well, I'll roll that 50% chance that there's brigands there, or if they see the footprints, I'll give them a chance for that. You see, it's just the perfect level of text to distract the players, let them start thinking about shit as I'm trying to get ahead of them to 1 or 2 steps and figuring out what's going to happen.
Yeah, you can slow them down.
That's perfect. That's what I'm looking for. That's why I like the fucking text,
Dandelion Games. Flavor text can help the GM understand the mood or feel what the writer was going for if done well.
Yeah.
5 to 7 sentences max. Yeah,
Bingo.
You don't want to be verbose with it. You need to be concise.
Yep. And I think that in the earlier modules too, I think was it B1, B2? Was it B2? I think there, whatever Campus Chaos was, that was the one where they had Gary at the beginning writing how to be a DM, how to do it, how to run the module, and that was some of the best advice I've ever seen written down anywhere about how to run a module. It was fantastic. It was only a couple pages long, dense, 5-point text, but it was fucking good.
Right.
Yeah, that was actually really good. And B1, I guess it was B1. That kind of stuff is helpful, especially for the new guys, right? Because who's learning how to do it anymore except by watching YouTube videos of Matt Mercer, which brings us full circle.
Which is not going to be the best way to learn how to DM.
No.
Let's be honest. It might be a good way to interest you in gaming.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But it also builds false expectations on how a game is going to be played.
Yeah. Yeah, Derek Jones. I heard a story that I think I know who you're talking about. You say you played a DM, legendary DM, stuck the party in the region with magical darkness so powerful. The only way to get out of it was to cast darkness on it and then light. Yeah, I heard a story about, I think I know who you're talking about. And the people were just like, why the fuck am I doing this? Just shoot me now, put a bullet in my head. It's terrible. Yeah. So I know what you're talking about there, man. That's too bad because I would have loved to play. If that's the guy I'm talking about, he's one of my checklist bucket list guys to play a game with someday. Tim Kask was also one of those guys, and I finally got a chance to play him in a game of his up at TotalCon. So yeah, that was kind of cool. I attacked the darkness. Worst game session of my life. Jesus Christ, that's too bad. That's too bad. Sometimes people just want a fucking old school D&D game. They just want to get in there and kill shit and then beat the guy's thing and say, yeah, I played in so-and-so's game and I kicked ass and I came out of it okay. And he said I was a good player. That's all people want. That's all people want is to have a compliment and survive and do well in some old school guy, legendary old school guy's game. That's all we want, man. You know what I mean? We want to tell that story. I played in Gary's dungeon once, and I played in Castle Greyhawk once, and I cleared out the room with the whatever the hell. And yeah, he gave me a wink and a nod, and he said I did well. And that's all I mean. I would have loved to have that story, dude. I would love to have that fucking story to pass down, that I've played in Gary's game once. That'd be fucking fantastic. Yeah, Tim was fun. Tim was a fun guy. I actually made him laugh because he says Gary was legendary with puns, and Gary's the only guy who ever got him to laugh, blah blah blah. And he never does puns. And one of Tim's did one I played in had a statue of a pig that was naked, standing up on its legs. So I said, well, my guy has a bedroll. He goes, yeah. I said, he has a blanket, right? He goes, yeah. So I said, I'm going to wrap that pig in a blanket. And he just looked at me. He started chuckling, and he double flipped me the bird. He started laughing like, "You motherfucker, you got me." So nice. I was like, "See, that's my Tim Kask moment. I could say that forever with a smile, and I could always laugh about it. That's all I want. That's all we all want. Playing some old school guys game at a convention. That's all we want, man. Yeah, yeah. I think he did that. Wandering. That's what it was. Wandering DMs. Yep, Dan Collins from Delta's D&D Blogspot. He's the guy who did the interview with Maginellum and the other guy who's the teacher in Connecticut. Yeah. So that's pretty cool, man. The Wandering DMs on YouTube channel. That's another good one to watch, in addition to Dungeon Craft, Professor Dungeon Masters one. So yeah, it's funny. We're giving away all our followers to go watch other YouTube videos tonight. At least I am.
All right. Well, then here, let's say this. If you're watching this, if we've at all entertained you at any point during the last hour and a half, subscribe. Yeah. Like the video, comment afterwards. Comments, if you're watching this later, because the comments that happened during the live show are great for the live show, but they don't show up later. Yeah. So.
Wait, they don't show up later?
No, they might show up on the side as you're watching the live stream, but they don't show up where people look at the. Okay. The actual. So for the algorithm. For us to get found on the tubes, like, subscribe, comment, all those fun things.
We're coming up on we're coming up on 400, man. 388. You started this 250 when you started this thing, 250 or so.
Yeah, 250. When I started doing this with Bad Mike, it was like 170.
Wow, dude,
so that was 170 in the fall, man. So. I appreciate everybody who subscribes and everybody who listens, everybody who watches. I mean, it's awesome. Again, Joe, Mike, Glenn, we don't do this for pay. We do this because we enjoy not just interacting with each other, but interacting with you and getting to talk with you and to you.
That's the best part. But I hope that we bring up a topic. That's my struggle or strain before the show is that I'm watching YouTube things. I'm reading. Actually, go back to my Feedly, it's about blogcast or my blog posts, rather, and look at all the different ones that are coming up. Try to find a topic that's actually I think might be interesting. I don't know. And then if we could get some people talking about it, that's the best because then we bring in the comments and we have a long conversation about everything with all of you guys because that's the fun part. Talking to everybody. It's like this is the best we can get. In terms of a substitution of being in person or going to a bar, going to a convention or something like that, so if we could bring up a topic that's interesting, everybody starts talking about it. I'm fucking happy. And we got 13 people watching. We're an hour and a half in. That's pretty good. We hit
like 18, 19 earlier.
Really?
Folks. Yes, we did. So Derek wants me to pronounce Frank Mentzer's name correctly. So we're talking about Frank M. Yes, I think I pronounced it correctly or close to it, but it's okay. Frank holds a special place in my gaming history. One, getting called out at my first North Texas RPG auction because I didn't realize I was bidding against Bill Webb's son John for some special Coca-Cola wood gaming dice. And why is
Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola?
Fuck is that?
It's the wood that the old nightsticks were made out of. It makes a nice little sound when it bonks the head. Apparently,
All right.
So I never had one. So I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. So I think I. But then I realized who I was bidding against, and I was like, because Frank told me who I was bidding against. I'm like, oh well, then I didn't know Bill at the time, so I was like, I just knew of Bill, and it's like, oh, those are deep pockets. I'm not gonna win this one day. His son's gonna, And then Frank also holds the special place of threatening me with legal action. Yeah. By the way, for sharing a website that was not protected by a password, Frank did not understand that if you give out a link, it is public.
Yeah.
And being a news site, that's what I did. I was like, oh, look, the Kickstarter's shutting down, but here's where you can follow. And then, yeah. So
back in the blog days, my only Mensa interaction was at some point. It might have been on yours, dude. I think I was commenting on your. For some reason, it's in my head. I was commenting on your blog about something, and I said Frank the Mensa Red Box or blah blah blah, and I made a compliment about it or something, and then Mensa comments with my game or my box or my. I'm like, fuck yeah, Frank Mensa commented on my shit. It was just one of those moments, man.
Well, the reason why I actually got to know Frank and converse with him and get to meet him at conventions, and for Frank, because I actually did a review of, and it wasn't even a full review. I reviewed the preview of the Forest of Doom dungeon, which was cringeworthy, and I basically said so, and he got pissy, and then I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll have to buy the full PDF. Which wasn't any better, and so we didn't start out in a great foot, and then it got better, and then it got worse, and then it got better, and then it got worse, and then it became. I think the highlight to me was Frank wishing me no good thoughts when I was hospitalized.
Yeah, yeah. So David's taking off. Take care, David. I've never had anything but positive interactions with Frank in terms of that little limited interaction I did have. So,
listen, Frank. Listen, I had a bad year last year. Frank's had a bad, 2 or 3 years between his $250,000 Kickstarter, not even raising a tenth of that. And then of course the other issues that. He had when it came to Dragon's Foot, and when it came to his own personal life. So listen, I wish Frank well because I would not want to be going through what Frank is going through. Then again, I wouldn't want anybody to go through what I went through last year. So
I don't know what he's going through, but more power to you. Hope you do well, Frank. What is this, David? Derek Jones has a. John Miller says, Derek Jones, I bought your module off a drive-through. Derek says, thanks, Sean. Derek, what do you got up there, man? Pimp yo shit, man. What do you got? What are you selling?
Pimp yo shit. Give us you can't put up a link apparently, but you can name it.
Yeah, name it, man. Dude, you've been talking here all night. More than happy to help promote your stuff, man. This is cool. What anybody in the chat? You got something you want to mention? You're published. We'll put it up there, and you could get your name out, get your product out there, man. That's kind of cool.
While I Woodard, my experiences with Frank until the last couple of years were actually very good and very positive. But when things snowball and you feel like things are against you, you will take that out on others, and I understand it. Yeah. And again, Frank is going through some personal issues that again, I wouldn't wish on anybody. I've been to his house. His wife was always gracious with all the gamers that were coming. I guess it was the night before GaryCon started. So always gracious. Right. So I hold on to stuff like that, and that's what I'd rather remember.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's everybody goes through shit times. Sometimes people lash out, whatever. You know what I mean? It's just look at the good stuff. Look what he's done. Let's see, Derek Jones. has a CNC, so I imagine that's Castles and Crusades module called Fire in the Hole. And he says that Milan loved it and Bryce slapped me around. I think Bryce loves everybody around.
Yeah, so Bryce is
hack and slash. Oh God, here we go. Vaughn Valvin going to publish Blood Island someday, dude. I'm in the middle of a move right now, but I got this plan someday, man. Some fucking day.
someday.
Yeah. Speaking of Greg Brasco, did a drawing for Blood Island for me way back in the day. It was of a succubus. Remember we were doing that? I don't know. We were playing this game one night, dude, and we ended up going out to some hot half naked or full naked chicks in chainmail bikinis and swords, and we spent like an hour there all looking through pictures, and we ended up talking about hot chicks in chainmail bikinis and swords, and we were just clicking through the pictures on somebody's website, and then I was mentioning Blood Island and whatnot, and Craig Brasco says, we started talking about the succubus picture, Nadine Dean, this and that, and and I said, man, that'd be great to have like a succubus on the fucking Blood Island's cover. So he actually drew me the succubus for there you go. Just gave it to me. I'm like, God, it's fucking hot. Yeah, I still got that picture.
Craig is he's an amazing artist.
Yeah.
And he does great work. So I can't recommend him enough.
Yeah.
And he's a good person.
Yeah.
I mean,
cool dude.
Some people are amazing artists or amazing creators, and you're like, well, they're an amazing creator, but they're still a douchebag.
Yeah.
Craig is a great person, and he's an amazing artist. Then again, I know a lot of amazing artists that are really good people too.
Yeah,
I happen to be blessed by that.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm down to 12% on this battery. It held off longer than I thought it would.
And I do have to get up early in the morning again, not because of a COVID thing, but because of the move. Speaking of which, if my brother's still watching, get your ass, stop drinking and get to bed. You got to be here at 7:30 with your damn truck to load up so I can take stuff to the dump. So stop drinking and go to bed. No hangover excuses. We got to get this shit done tomorrow. So, yeah.
Folks, not to cut us short, really not short either, man. It's like an hour and 40 minutes. But for us, maybe it's a little bit short.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak for Joe here too. We really appreciate everybody who showed up tonight, participated in the chat. This is the liveliest chat. I work with total of 3 co-hosts. This is the liveliest chat that we ever get. It's on these Friday nights with Joe and I.
I wonder why. Maybe people they have the next day off and they're up a little later. I don't know.
Well, it could be that. Also, I've known Joe now for years. As COVID retreats, we'll go back to our pilgrimages to Complete Strategist. By the way, we'll probably, if you're in the New York area, we'll probably announce our next one when we finally do go down.
Yeah.
We do try to hit a local. What was it? The captains or something like that.
Some Captain's Galley, Captain's Cove.
Yeah,
what's it called?
Captain's Cove. I think
it was piratey in some name, some way. You know what I mean?
It was a dive bar across the street, but you know what? The alcohol was fine and the food wasn't bad.
Food was good.
The prices didn't hurt us for Manhattan.
No, especially for Manhattan. The prices were actually decent, really pretty good, actually. Yeah, no, that was a good place, man. Then we started after that place kind of went weird, and we ended up going to the Irish bar down the street. But we're all old, and that's a few blocks in New York City, man. That's like 18 miles. So
we might have to go. We might have to go to the call. But listen, when we have graduated enough past COVID, we'll announce when we're going.
Yeah,
it'll be me, Joe, my wife, Rach, probably.
Absolutely.
And we'll make an informal tavern gathering. We've done that before.
Yeah,
we've met people.
Yeah.
A good time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to try to, it can't hurt, dude, to reach out to this Professor Dungeon Master guy. He's a New Yorker. Maybe he'll throw us a New York favor there. You know what I mean?
You never know.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
And just so don't stress the fact that we have 388 subscribers. This is when you got to stress. Well, Eric Tenkar runs Tenkar's Tavern. It ranks like 160K on Alexa. Ranking, and it ranks higher in the U.S. than RPG.net because you got to sell your strengths, and that's where the strengths are. So, folks, the blog. I'm going to put up a blog post later on tonight asking people on the blog, do they want me to do a weekly recap? If they want the weekly recap, we'll do the weekly recap. So.
Yeah. Wild Die Woodard says, will we ever see Joe's face? Probably not until I retire, dude. I still got to work for a living. I'm still out there.
He's a public servant.
Yeah,
Greg Gillespie, You son of a bitch! You come in right as we are logging out.
What are you, like California time zone, dude? What's up, man?
No, Greg is Canadian, but I forgive him for that.
Yeah, dude, send me a mask, dude. Send me the Doomcock mask. That's what I want. I want to get a Doom. I will get on live if you can give me the Doomcock mask. I will give you my new address. Everybody watches that Overlord DVD YouTube channel. The dude is entertaining as shit, man. He is. There's another. I'm tipping out everybody else's channel today. Dude is funny as hell. He's just great. He's a great character. I don't know if anything he says is true, but he's fucking funny when he says it, so it's entertaining. You know what I mean?
John Miller also says, play up Tenkar's Tavern and Swords and Wizardry Light.
Yeah.
Well, go. I did something. Oh my god! Let's
I'll hit him up. I'll hit him up and see what he says. It can't hurt, man. It may not be for a while because I'm so deep into all the bullshit and moving and all that stuff. Give me this. Right. I'm moving not tomorrow, but next. I'm moving on May 1st. So you can imagine what the disaster area this place looks like right now. So yeah, I won't be reaching anytime soon, but I think it'd be a cool guest to have. And if we get him on here, and he's cool and he likes us and he doesn't think we're wackadoos, maybe we could hook up with him in New York and go out for a beer and drink.
Oh, well, that'd be awesome. I never turned down. Well, actually, I shouldn't say never turned down a beer. I've turned down like the fourth beer. I try to stop at 3. Yeah. God help me for saying that. But
Jesus. Going to North Texas. I was supposed to go to North Texas with Eric the first time, but back then I was number 1 broke and trying to get ahead of the game, and number 2, my car kept shitting the bed on me. It's like every 6 months I had a new fucking transmission in there for like $900, $1,200, and every time I did, it was like everything I had to go towards the goddamn convention. So I just could not get ahead back then, and so I never went to North Texas. But it is definitely on my radar. And that's when you went the first time and took Rachel back then, right?
Yeah,
because I had a bail on you. I was like, I just can't afford it. I just can't afford it.
Rachel called it our punted honeymoon. So,
yeah.
God bless.
No excuses, Joe. Nut up. All right. They've all been there. I'm saving some cash now. Like I said, I'm not going out, although the move is cutting into every bit of my savings. Trust me. Dude, how much boxes cost? Motherfucker. You know? It's just everything is just killing me. But I'm hoping to get ahead of the game once I buy, all this shit, maybe by the end of the summer, maybe by next year. Although Dallas, Texas in the fucking summer, man. Dude, I can't think of, is it? I mean, holy
it's worth it. No, I'm going to tell you, if you want to meet people in the hobby,
yeah,
and not just the old timers that let's be honest, their time is getting short.
Yeah.
But people on par with like our generation of Jeff Talani and others. You want to meet Stefan Pokorny, and listen to Crazy Train. As you walk around the hotel with a boombox, that's one of the places where you'll experience.
That's fun. That sounds like a good time. It really does. It really does. Is weed legal in Texas or no?
I have no clue, but I'm sure you can ask Tim Kask.
That's what I was just thinking. He's the man to go to. If there's a source there, I would imagine. I heard.
Oh yeah, I remember.
From a rumor. I don't know. I want to put no words in his mouth, but
I remember. I was supposed to call Tim, and I called him, and he's like, I gotta get back to you. What's up, Tim? He goes, I'll get back to you in 10 minutes. I'm like, all right. Like, what was that? Oh, I was playing Weed Farmer on my phone, and I was in a tough spot that I had to finish. So it's like, Weed Farmer? Yeah, it's like one of those, like, everybody's doing it, those farming games, but you're farming weed.
I remember his story. He told a story one time, I think on a podcast or whatever the fuck. He does his curmudgeon in the cellar one or something, right?
Yes.
So he's telling a story about the origin of the whatever the fuck the land shark is. What is the fucking the boulier?
Oh, the boulier, yes.
Whatever the hell it's called, right? And it was modeled after the SNL skit of Land Shark back in the day. Remember those things? You get a knock on the door, Land Shark. Who was it? Land Shark. And he just started laughing his nuts off. And he was just, I guess he was just on the weed enough that he was just so stoned. He's like, I'm going to make a D&D module called the Boulier or Land Shark or something like that. And so I know at least back in the day, he admitted to doing it. I mean, he's still doing it today. But yeah, definitely. If there's a guy to go to, I'll hit him up for him when we get there, But Texas, they might shoot you for smoking weed, though, won't they? Aren't they kind of vicious like that and shit? I don't want fucking stranger to come in there and fucking shoot.
They're pretty much live and let live unless like you're stealing somebody's weed, in which case they'll probably shoot you.
Well, that's stealing a horse, the weed, their dog, their woman. Yeah.
Matt Jackson wants us to do an episode from the the con. There will be a Talking Crit Wednesday night live from the convention, and it's going to involve alcohol because Chris Doggill is bringing alcohol, so it's going to be dangerous.
Cool. When are you going? Is NTRPG on this year, live and in person?
North Texas is on this year. I have everything. I even have my plane tickets, but by the way, they changed my flight, both going and coming back, to earlier flights than anyone godly would not want to fly on.
Okay.
But yes, Rachel and I are going. I have to get the hotel. Thanks for reminding me. I got to do that. We got our badges.
Nice, man. Maybe next year I'll do it, dude.
They should do a Humboldt County weed farming game where everyone has an assault rifle to defend their patch. Yeah. All right.
I already talked to my brother about going to Gen Con because we got 1984. I started playing D&D. So I said, you know what? We got 2024. That'll be the 40th anniversary of us because we started the same year playing D&D. So I said we should go to Gen Con in 2024. So, he said yes. He said he's going to do it 2024.
Okay.
He, of course, hasn't asked his wife yet, and that may put it.
Well, yeah. It may slow things down just a wee bit.
So we'll see how that goes. But I definitely that's another bucket list thing. I want to hit Gen Con once. I know D&D, which is at the coast, doesn't have a fucking presence there anymore, but I still want to go once. I still want to go once.
Right. I'll make this announcement here because a lot of people in the chat are saying that they have North Texas down for 2022.
Yeah.
Listen, folks, I will, if you all from the tavern go to North Texas, I thought Rachel was going to comment on what I'm gonna everybody who comes from the tavern, everybody who's associated, hangs out here, participates in the live stream, you're on the Facebook, you come down and you identify as a taverner. We'll all hit the bar together. First round is on me.
Dude. We'll bring a credit card.
I'll bring Rachel's credit card. I got to make it work for you. Oh, we're going to get cut off. It's down to 8%. So
okay.
I've never seen a laptop get into the battery red level.
Damn,
it's gonna be like, but hey, listen, it lasted longer than I expected.
Yeah, it worked out good. Almost 2 hours here, so that's cool, man.
Yeah, see, if I only brought the right charger. It's like, this charger worked when I had my 13-inch laptop.
Yeah.
With this 16-inch laptop, it apparently slows down. It will charge when this computer is off. I have to turn it off after this, but it won't do it when it's running. Folks, again, thank you. Everybody who's been watching live and participating, thank you. Those of you that watch this later or listen to it later on the probably some people from Spotify, but listening on Anchor, again, I thank you. Joe thanks you.
Yes, absolutely.
Really do appreciate it.
Why I do it is why I like it. The interaction.
Subscribe, like, comment.
Share.
Joe and I share. Yeah, let people know about it. Joe and I will be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll be in my new place.
I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to try to record the next episode from the back porch here on Holy.
All right.
That's where I'm up in PA, but we'll see if that depends on the weather. All right, folks.
All right, guys.
I say be safe, be well. God bless for all those dice. COVID, use your common sense. I can't forget, man. And we'll be back. Thanks again, folks.
Take it easy. Bye, guys.